Hi, boys and girls. Miss Lehmann here for our final two chapters of Deck the Halls, We're Off the Walls. The Kid Who Ruined Christmas, Chapter 11. Gasped everyone. Hey, I said, you're not the real Santa. You're just some guy dressed up like Santa. Santa mumbled. The fake Santa guy looked really familiar to me. I knew I had seen him somewhere before, so I picked up his Santa hat right off his head. And you'll never believe in 1,000,000 years what was under there. Nothing! The guy was completely bald, just like Mr. Klutz, the principal of my school. In fact, the fake Santa guy was Mr. Klutz. Mr. Klutz! I shouted. What are you doing here? Earning a little extra money over the holidays, he replied. I knew I was in trouble as soon as people saw Santa wasn't the real Santa, but I had no idea how much trouble I was in. Eek! Some girl shouted. Santa has no hair. He's fake, a boy yelled. Mommy, screamed another girl. You told me that man was a real Santa Claus. You lied. All the little kids in the line started yelling, screaming, crying, and freaking out. Their parents were upset, too. We've been waiting in line for an hour, lady shouted, and now this? It's that kid's fault, one dad yelled, pointing his finger at me. He ruined Christmas for my son. He ruined Christmas for everybody. I thought I was going to die. Mr. Klutz looked scared. He got up quickly and put a sign on his seat that said, Santa has gone to feed his reindeer. He'll be back soon. I'd better get out of here, he told me. AJ, what do you have to say for yourself? I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. I had to think fast. Peace on earth and goodwill to men, I said. Get him! Somebody shouted. Get that kid who ruined Christmas. Bummer in the winter. There was only one thing I could do. Run! Last chapter, chapter 12. The true meaning of Christmas. This was the worst thing to happen since TV turnoff week. I wanted to go to Antarctica and live with the penguins. I jumped off the little platform to make a run for it, but I slipped on some fake snow and knocked over the Christmas tree. It landed on top of me. As I was scrambling to get up, my foot got tangled in a string of Christmas lights. When I yanked at it, sparks started flying. That must have spooked the reindeer in the petting zoo because one of them broke out of the gate and started running around in crazy circles. Run for your life, shouted Neil the nude kid. The reindeer is on the loose. Watch out for those antlers, a lady screamed. It's heading for the food court, somebody shouted. I finally got to my feet and a bunch of angry parents started chasing me. Get him, one of the dads shouted. Get that kid. I bolted out of there. Crowds of people were all over the place. I had to run around them like a football player to escape the angry parents chasing me. I bumped into some lady and she fell into a fountain. Help, I shouted. They're going to get me. I ran up the down escalator. Then I ran down the up escalator. But I didn't travel through time. The parents were still chasing me. I couldn't lose them. At the other end of the mall, I spotted the men's bathroom. Maybe I could hide in a stall, I figured. It was my only hope. I ran over there and ducked inside the bathroom. I was panting and gasping for breath. And you'll never believe who was in there combing his hair in the mirror. Crazy. Dude, he said, what's the matter? You look like you've been through a war. I put my hand on his shoulder and looked him in the eye. You've got to help me, I begged. I was sitting on Santa's lap and I accidentally pulled off his beard. The kids who were waiting in line freaked out and now their parents are trying to get me. What should I do? Quick, Crazy said. Let's switch clothes again. Huh? Just do it. I tore off my itchy Christmas sweater and gave it to Crazy. He tore off his clothes and gave them to me. Now get out of here, Crazy said, and act casual. I whistled as I strolled out of the bathroom. Because if you're whistling, nobody thinks you did anything wrong. That's the first rule of being a kid. A bunch of angry parents were milling around looking all over. None of them noticed me. I thought I was in the clear. But that's when the most amazing thing in the history of the world happened. An announcement came over the public address system. Well, that's not the amazing part, because announcements come over the public address system all the time. The amazing part was what happened next. Attention shoppers! It's 2 o'clock. The young pop sensation Crazy is about to do some more Christmas wrapping on the main stage near the big tree. Come see him perform! Suddenly, Officer Spence came rolling over to me on his Segway. We've been looking all over for you, Mr. Z. He said, come on, everybody's waiting. Huh? What? Who? Me? Again? I asked. Officer Spence pulled me up on the Segway and rolled over to the stage. Yo, Z, said the guitar player. Let's rock, man. There must have been 1,100,000 girls in the audience now. Some of them were trying to climb up on the stage, but the police were holding them back. That guy in the jacket and tie climbed up and took the microphone. Okay, boys and girls, he said. Here he is again, the latest, the greatest, Crazy! The girls started screaming. The band started playing. I had no choice, so I started rapping. 'Twas the night before Christmas, you know the rest. Stuff was all over, the house was all a mess. I was dreaming of a Christmas white. It was totally silent night. That's when I heard a crash and a boom, so I ran right down to the living room. There was this guy dressed all in black, and over his shoulder he carried a sack. I took one look at him and said, Whoa, man, I know you're not Frosty the Snowman. Who are you? I said after a pause. You sure don't look like Santa Claus. He said, the name's Klepto. I'm from the South Pole. I grab all your presents. That's how I roll. On Christmas Eve, I go round the world and steal all the presents from boys and girls. He went to the corner and got down on one knee to scoop up the gifts that were under the tree. He took them away. He grabbed my new toys. He took my new clues. He took all our joy. To the Christmas Klepto, everything's free. I'll take your partridge, he said, and your pear tree. I liked your presents and now they're mine. So how much stuff did you buy online? You better watch out. You better not cry. You make one peep and I'll poke out your eye. You're a mean man, sir, I said with a hiss. Just wait until Santa finds out about this. That Mr. Klepto thought he was a smarty, but in the end we spoiled his party. Oh, sure, the guy had lots of charm until he tripped our silent alarm. A few minutes later, the cops arrived. Mr. Klepto under the couch he dived. The cops yelled, come out with your hands in the air. I was framed, he shouted, that ain't fair. The cops said, now don't try anything violent. All you have is the right to remain silent. They dragged him away and he said bye-bye, and that was the last I heard of that guy. Now, all the stuff that I've been rapping, you may say that none of it happened. After all, nobody came and stole your stuff. Nobody broke in. Nobody got rough. Well, the reason that you've got nothing to fear is because they put Klepto away for 10 years. So you can believe whatever you want to believe, but that's what's happened on Christmas Eve. Let's hear it for Crazy, said the guy with the jacket and tie. The girls went nuts, screaming and yelling and freaking out. I jumped off the stage and ran back to the men's room. Crazy was in there waiting for me. You saved my life, I told him. Now we're even, dude. Crazy and I switched back into our normal clothes, shook hands, and said goodbye. As I was about to walk away, I came up with the greatest idea in the history of the world. Hey, Crazy, I need to get a Christmas present for my sister. Can you give me an autograph? Sure, dude, he said. Crazy took off his hat. He pulled a Sharpie from his pocket, signed the hat, and handed it to me. You know, he said, sometimes I wish I was in your shoes. Why, I asked, what's wrong with your shoes? No, he said, what I mean is the grass is always greener on the other side. Huh, I asked, what does the color of grass have to do with anything? That Crazy kid is weird. Who cares about shoes and grass? But as I walked away, I started thinking about what Crazy said. Christmas isn't about malls and elves and trees and presents. It's about being a good person. It's about helping a guy out when he's in trouble. Crazy needed my help, so I helped him. Then I needed his help, and he helped me. Christmas is a time for giving. That's the true meaning of the Christmas spirit. Who knows? Maybe I'll become Crazy's stunt double. Maybe Santa will bring me the new Stryker Smith Commando action figure with missile launcher, voice activator, attack dog, and deluxe blowtorch. Maybe another song will get stuck in my head. Maybe the real Santa will come to the Man Mall next Christmas. Oh my goodness, my dog loves the story. Maybe they'll pay the teachers more money so they don't have to dress up like little elves. Maybe I'll travel back in time on an escalator. Maybe Santa will get some breath mints. Maybe I won't have to wear my itchy Christmas sweater next year. Maybe I'll get to eat some of those giant nuts. Maybe Santa will be arrested for invading people's privacy. Maybe Mr. Clutch will catch animals with his head. Maybe Santa will ditch his sleigh and switch to a helicopter. Maybe Andrea and Emily will bring peace and harmony to kids all over the world. But it won't be easy. And boys and girls, that's the end of Deck the Halls. We're off the walls. That was sure a funny story. The part I liked best is where it said, Christmas isn't about malls and elves and trees and presents. It's about being a good person. I hope that part really stuck with you, and I hope you enjoyed the whole story. Don't forget, take your AR test. Have a great afternoon.